Can I ask something about the Hellfire Museum? And so you're talking about the museum exhibition itself, but I look at it more as kind of the whole experience. So exhibition itself is one, but if you go to the landscape, you walk, it's very much Australian. Because you feel with flags and right, it's kind of flags everywhere.
The two flags at the end, it's a Thai Australian site.
Right, and then you walk through and you have like Australian flag, and you have like I asked you what the symbol is, related to Australian symbols, and
there were some British flags there. I think from the commemorative, from one of the commemorations left from one of the services.
So I'm thinking about kind of Asian museum visitors, for example. We because in English, right? And I'm not quite sure it's in Thai.
It was in Thai.
In Thai, some, right? And then, but usually we don't really read that much, sorry. So this is like maybe the message didn't really get to us. So the Thai people, you saw they were walking, they were kind of selfie a little bit, and so there's maybe their experience that they will remember.
Not the landscape again.
Not like exactly landscape, not so much about the content of the.
I think we should note that there were Thai visitors there. You went through the visitor book. There were quite a few Thai visitors.
Yeah,
and,
I read what they wrote too.
What sort of,
it was like, oh, thank you. I learned a lot about history. That's it. Not so much.
Is it a novelty for Thais to be able to go onto army land? Is there any nothing there?
No.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering whether that was something.
Yeah.
I mean, all these sites now. I mean, I think the selfie revolution is affecting everything. All these sites have become, what was interesting at that place, and I was very impressed how they got us to take our shoes off, because there's increasingly this issue of decorous behaviour and how to behave in certain sites. And there was an anxiety. Bruce Gates writes about this in one of his books about Anzac Pilgrimage. I believe there's an anxiety about having Japanese tourists and other people coming to these potentially what might become an extraterritorial Australian pilgrimage site at high levels in the diplomatic service about how non-Australians would behave. In a way, they when we took our shoes off, we were commenting, and we were sort of almost like entering ritual space.
Exactly. Yeah. This is true. This is so true. When you go to temple, we have to take off the shoes.
Of course, the irony of all this is the constant stories you hear about Australian and UK backpackers causing offence by walking around cities like Chiang Mai bare-chested. So they're showing respect to the local environment, it's always a contested issue.
What we did also find out, I think we were able to say this in conversations, was potentially there may be a big expansion and a renovation that there may be. If the Thai government, if the Thai army, if it can be negotiated.
Right.
The Australian government is currently involved in trying to push that. I must say one last thing, one question. That you said something very interesting about how this site is also determined to some extent, investment in this site by Australian domestic politics.
Right.
There. So this was John Howard very much pushing this forward.
And now there's a right-wing government in power again, so I think there's more of an appetite for these marking, acknowledging and managing these sites in what is deemed the most respectful way. And that obviously requires funding, and that's very much part of the diplomatic language between these countries, the bilateral relations of managing it. And so I think the fact that it's on army land is far from coincidental. It's not just that it's a stable partner for the Australian government, where they know they can have some predictability. Although obviously the Thai army is massively powerful in Thailand, I still think it means that a site like that is not prone to the commercial pressures.
I see. Yes.
That you might be for some of the urban environments, where a developer might come along and say, "Well, a museum is."
Or build a resort here,
So you can retain the dignity, and you can retain your ability to exert your will of the narrative on that space. I think so. If a government, so it's a peer-to-peer relationship, which I think also then means that the control of the site is able to be maintained over a longer term.